and then just place some powder snow buckets in the middle, so when someone comes climbing up the mountain, they'll fall through. This would have been the perfect thing to have in Third Life. I could have trapped so many people. Guys, I have released some brand new merch for the month of Pride. This will only be available for the month of June, so make sure to head into the description, click the link, and check it out today. Add a little bit of colour to your wardrobe. Minecraft 1.17, the brand new update with a bunch of new blocks, and I'm going to show you some ways you can use them to add a little bit of space to some of your builds in this upcoming update. Before me, we can see 10 different builds using a mix of different 1.17 blocks that you can add to your future builds to make your world just a little bit cuter. So, firstly, we have this wall design. Now, the wall design is basically just using any sort of mix of blocks, but you're using the new lightning rods as the bar. Now, I should preface that this wall is definitely just aesthetic and will not actually keep anyone out, because if you think skinny thoughts, you can just walk through it. It's actually perfect size, so don't go using it for any like jail designs or anything, because it will not work. To make this wall, all you're going to need is the lightning rod and an array of different bricks. For this, I'm using a mix of bricks, granite and polished granite in varying sizes, and the basic premise of it is having a wall along the bottom, enough space that there is a 2-block gap for the wall, and then you just place the lightning rods. But like end rods, they need to be placed in a kind of specific way, so the easiest way is just to line them across the bottom, stack them on top of each other like so, and then break the bottom row, and then you place it on the bottom of the above rod. This way it places the thicker bits at the top and the bottom and allows the thinner bars to be for the middle. Obviously you could do this with any combination of blocks, maybe using stone and cobble, stone bricks, diorite, any of the above. I just chose the bricks so it kind of kept that kind of red color scheme, but totally up to you to what you want to mix it with. Now the second build we have is using the new amethyst blocks, both the amethyst buds and the block of amethyst, and we're using it to create a chandelier. For this, you're just going to need a block of amethyst, an end rod, and any mixing for the size of amethyst clusters. So for this, you just need a ceiling of some sort. I'm just using a small strip of oak wood to give something to hang it off of. All I'll do is place the end rod upside down with the block of amethyst attached to it, and then I'm going to put the amethyst cluster underneath and just the buds along the sides. And if you listen closely, they make really cool noises when you place and break them. Now obviously with this you can make it the same size as I did, or you could make it bigger. You can totally play around with the shape and size of this, have them at varying heights around your builds depending on the size, but I think it's just a cool way to make a nice little chandelier a little bit more interesting. This next one is a take on a design that we've already used before, but it is a grandfather clock, except you can use the lightning rod as the pendulum. I also decided to use the new glowing item frames to also make the clock stand out, just to give it a little bit of extra oomph. For this, all you need is trapdoors of your choice, matching stairs, slabs, a lightning rod, a glowing item frame, and a clock. Now all we're going to do is place down our slab, pop down the trapdoors along the sides, and we're actually going to want these to be 4 high, so I'm just going to add an extra 2 and close all of those up. I'm then going to, in the top block, put a solid block with a trapdoor on top, the item frame, and our clock, and then under that I'm going to put the upside down stairs and the lightning rod onto the bottom of the stair. And there we go, we have our grandfather clock with the pendulum. Now this next one is a mix of designs because it is a cute little pond, and I put in a few little axolotls. We have Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup here, just living in their cute little pond. I also decided to mix along the outskirts of the pond some of the new block, the dripstone block, but the main thing I'm pointing out is using some of these amethyst crystals to make sort of lily pads, fancy little flowers. And for this it's super simple. All you really need is some water, a wart trapdoor, amethyst buds of your size, some normal lily pads, and a bucket of axolotl for good measure. And for this all you need to do is get a light, fill it with some water, and then wherever you know that you want one of your amethyst buds, you just need to place a block next to it, place the trapdoor so it's just on the surface of the water, and pop your amethyst bud on top. You can leave it like this, or you can decorate it with a few lily pads around it, and obviously release a few axolotls in for good luck, because they're so adorable. I love them. Now this next one is actually using an item that we've had for a while, but it's making advantage of the new ore block. blocks. As you can see, the ores now have new textures for diamonds, lapis, redstone and copper, and simply placing some normal vines in front of them makes them look like they're flowering vines. So for this you literally just need an ore of your choice and some vines. So if you're playing in a survival world, you're going to need to get some silk touch. And for this, super simple, you just get the blocks where you want them and put some vines on top. Obviously you can put one vine down and it will spread, but for this I've just covered the entire thing. These could be a really cool way to spruce up an outside garden area just to add a bit more texture to the area and add a little bit of pop of colour. Now this next build is more of a cool build rather than a cute build. And thanks to this new tinted glass we have, you can almost make a one-way mirror. Now if you look very closely, you can see that there is actually an armor stand in there. And from this side, it looks very difficult to see into. But if we go inside the small room, cover it back up, from the inside, you can see out no bother. So this could be a really cool build to have to sort of spy on your friends. Or if you're playing a faction server, you could use it into like a prison room, somewhere to kind of just stare into without them knowing that you're necessarily watching them. And for it, you just need tinted glass and a block of your choice. I'm just using the polished deep slate because it's new and I quite like it. Now the way this works is basically if there is no light source on the other side, the block becomes almost solid. So all you need to do is have a small room with no light source behind it and you can barely see in there. Obviously if there was light into it, you can see through it no bother, so make sure that you're doing it in a small dark enclosed area and don't put any torches or anything in there either. And if you want to make sure it's mob proof, the easy solution is just add some carpet on the floor and voila, your own little secret spy room. This next one is again using the lightning rods that we had just to make some table legs, you know, just add a little bit of fanciness to it. So all you need is some lightning rods and trapdoors of your choice. And it's really simple, just place the legs where you want them and then some trapdoors on top. And voila, you have a nice little table that just adds a little bit more fanciness to it rather than fences. Now this next one may just look like a giant black box, and that's because it is. But inside the giant black box is where the magic happens. Now, this one takes a little bit more of imagination to kind of picture the grand scheme and the scope it could be used in, but obviously for the purposes of this video, I just made a miniature version. So if we go back in here, put on the wall, and then have a look up, you can see what I'm classing as stars. The way the tinted glass works is it stops the light from blocks passing through it. So if I break one of these, you can see this lights up the entire room. You can see a lot more. But if I place a tinted glass back, it gets rid of that and it suddenly becomes dark in here. I think this could look really cool in sort of like an observatory build or a room that's got a much higher ceiling in the bottom of a cave somewhere, just to kind of look like stars in the sky. Obviously, as this is a bit smaller and you're a bit closer to it, you can see kind of the outlines. But I just think this has some really cool possibilities and things that can be done with it, and it's super easy to do. All you need for this one is a block of your choice, tinted glass, and a light source. I'm using sea lanterns, but you could easily use glowstone or glow shrooms, whatever you want. And basically the premise of it is, if you have an area, you can pop down a sea lantern and then just surround it in tinted glass. It still allows the glowing texture to be seen, but it then doesn't emit any light. So it's quite good for using in maybe like in sort of deep secret cave areas. I think it could be a really cool addition. Now this next one is by far one of my favorites. I really like the way I used this. As you can tell, this just looks kind of like a snowy mountain, but the important block here is this powdered snow block. The reason it's important is this has an interesting mechanic. Like normal snow you can stand on and walk on no bother, but if you happen to walk across some powder snow, you sink through it. Now that then got me thinking, if I can sink through it, I can go through it. So it is the perfect way to make a cool hidden area in a mountain base. I think this is such a cute little like snow kind of cave area. I've got my little enchanting setup, some storage, the brewing stand. I use different ice blocks and calcite for the floor just to make it seem super cute, and then to get out you just have to shift through it. Though I will say it does give you the new cold effect that Minecraft is adding with this, so you need to make sure you get through quick, otherwise you're gonna freeze to death. But look how cool the animation is at the side of the screens. Looks adorable. To make this, it's super easy. You just need powder snow buckets, stone, snow blocks, and snow. And I'm pretty sure the way you get powder snow is by putting a cauldron out in a snowy biome and it will collect it. So for this, all you need is a small area where you want a secret door. Place down the powder snow buckets and it will place them as blocks. And then just use a mix of other snow just to kind of mask the area and make it not look as obvious. And voila. And if you just run through here, voila, you have your new area. And another fun way to use this is you can actually use it to make traps. So you could make a small pitfall trap, place a bunch of snow around the edges, and then just place some powder snow buckets in the middle, so when someone comes climbing up the mountain, they'll fall through. This would have been the perfect thing to have in Third Life. I could have trapped so many people. And finally, we have one of the smaller and harder to notice details, and that is using candles. So I have put some candles on top of some glass panes here to make the cattail plant. Now these look super cute in river areas and such, just to add a little bit of life to them. You can mix this along with the other ones that we did earlier with the lily pads and the amethyst crystals. But the thing that makes these quite cool is you can use them like so, or if you grab a flint and steel, you can even light. So suddenly we now have a little light source in the lake. For this, all you're going to need is some glass panes, some candles of your choice, and a flint and steel. And all you have to do is at different heights sort of stack different glass panes and then just pop any amount of candles on top of it that you want. And candles work similarly to sea pickles, so if you want maybe a double one, you can stack them just to make them a little bit thicker. And like I said before, you can either choose to light them so that they give off some light, or leave them normally. Either way, I think they look adorable. So I hope I was able to give you some fun ideas that you can add to your future Minecraft builds in the upcoming update. There are so many amazing little blocks and features that are perfect for adding those little extra details and decoration to your bases. Make sure to let me know in the comment section down below which one of these was your favorite and which one you're definitely going to be using. I, for one, am going to definitely be using those candles on glass panes as little cattails, and also the powder snow trick. I'm going to be living my Ice Queen fantasies with my secret bases. It's going to be great. I love that. Let me know what you think of the upcoming update, and if you're excited for it, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye!